Do you have a brilliant startup idea but are stuck in the launching phase? Are you feeling overwhelmed by funding, marketing, or just where to start? Don't let your startup idea stay grounded. Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
All right, welcome back to On The Cusp. I've got Matt Snyder, my co-host, back with me.
Thank
and who
you,
do we
Dave.
have with us today, Matt?
I've been trying, I swear, for a year and a half to get this guy on the podcast. He's a busy man.
I was waiting for y'all to get y'all's numbers up.
Okay,
all right. That's why I've been pushing off.
That's why you're the entrepreneur, okay?
That's right, Mr. Moss Duvall, Pelican Tents, Duvall's Amusement. We've worked together since my very first big event.
Yep, I remember that day.
And I can tell you about, I remember Jason Brady.
Yep.
And I can tell you, we were sitting in the back room at Rhino,
Yep.
and he said, "Well, you got to get Moss, and we got to get Moss." I said, "Well, I've called him, and his prices, I can't pay that guy." And he said, "Let me call Moss." He said, "Y'all need to sit eye to eye." And Moss came to the table, and I give Moss tons of grief all the time, but truly, there would not be a Shreveport Derby Day. There would not be a Catahoula Wine Mixer. There would not be Crawfest. None of those events would exist except for Moss working with me and helping me get them started.
He helps the BRF a lot.
We do.
Okay. We do a lot of business together. We just did 2 events. You
Last
helped
week,
us.
right?
Yeah, last week we did the 10th anniversary of the Accelerator, and the week before that we did the multi-pack
Yep.
job fair, which we had 500 people at.
Yep.
Okay.
And we did CMT a year
Yep,
ago. and
you
then,
did the Center for Molecular
Then when y'all
Imaging.
built the new building out here, we did a big tent that was fully air conditioned.
That's
The
right, we did
governor
there.
came up. That was like
Yeah,
2021 or
that's
22.
right. That's right. We
Yeah.
did the tent.
So let's start here, because this is, we talk to entrepreneurs and we talk about running a business in
Yep.
Shreveport, Louisiana, and
Yep.
being an entrepreneur. And we've worked together and
Yep.
been friends now for 11 years, is how long my business has been around. And I've watched your company. You came in and your dad had a company.
Yep.
And you greatly adapted that company and changed that company.
Yep.
Talk about, just give
Just how
people
it
the
started.
story and how all that happened. Because that's
It's
been
really
cool.
fascinating. So my mom, Judy Leonard and Virginia Israel, they started Spacewalker Shreveport in 1982. One bounce house. No one knew what a bounce house was. They basically had to give them away at schools and people's birthdays, because what kid wants to jump on basically a pillow? And so then when the economy crashed in '85, my dad bought them out, and it was just my mom and dad. And so they ran the bounce house business out of my house, our parents' house, for forever. And then when I went to college, I went to Washita Baptist, got a degree in finance, business management. I graduated in 2003, and I was getting ready to go work for Walgreens or Tyson Chicken, because our college the business college were kind of tied in with those. And so I did some internships, and I did not like the big corporate structure. So
I can't see that.
yeah, and so, and so I came in and I'm like, all right, Dad, I want to work for you. How much money am I gonna make? He said, nothing, 0. I'm like, what? He's like, you have to generate all your own income. So I started knocking on church doors, schools, and we had probably 20 inflatables at the time. And then by
798 jump.
798jump.com.
That was the phone number,
Yep.
right?
And so then by 2007, we're up to probably 150 inflatables. When I started, there were 0 employees, and then got married in 2008, and that's when me and my wife started Pelican Tents. And so said, Dad, I want to start a tent company. He's like, I want to retire. He's like, it's all you. So I said, okay. So I went to the bank, borrowed $20,000, got 3 tents, 10 tables, and 100 chairs. And then from there, it's just been.
You should see this warehouse
yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah.
I've been with Moss through a massive warehouse move, upgrade. People do not understand how much stuff. I mean, we're talking like huge lifts to bring things down from way up high. I mean, a huge warehouse at this point.
So we grew really, really fast. So now we're in a 34,000 square foot facility. We just bought the warehouse next door. Jeff Spikes did the architect on it. Matt Jenkins is doing the build out. So we're building out a showroom. That's 6,000 square feet, and offices for my girls, my ladies, sales staff, stuff like that.
How many employees do you have right now?
We're 25 right now.
25.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
From 1 to 25.
Yeah. So it's and those 25 guys are averaging between 60 to 80 hours a week. So we could really be.
You could double that.
We really should be around 40-ish if we can get there to keep the life balance healthier for the employees. But right now it's just, we just run and gun. And there's certain times of the year, 6 months out, we cut off all orders. Now we'll leave certain windows and time slots open for, repeat customers, clients.
Moss, I need you in 3 days.
We're doing a job fair, okay? And we need a tent. Okay?
Yeah. So the one from multi-pack, that was a week that was cut off. But when Randy Miller with Career Ventures called and said, "Hey, we're doing a job fair. I need a tent," we're gonna make it work and squeeze it in. So yeah, we've been blessed beyond all means, and it's fun. We've grown a lot. I mean, we've added. We do so much tinting. We own millions of square feet of fabric, and so we have a washing machine that's basically the size of a Suburban, and we can wash up to 3,200 square feet of vinyl every 45 minutes. Then we have a big drying rack. The vinyl comes out wet, it goes up, it dries, and then we're washing another 3,200 square feet. So that way the goal is every time a tent goes out, the walls or whatever it is, it's clean and perfect. We used to do it by hand and just
Now, how
not
far
very
out
efficient.
from Shreveport do you go?
So our sweet spot is within 250 miles. We've done stuff as far as California, Chicago, North Carolina. So we had some tents out the Super Bowl at LA. Was it LA last year or Vegas last year? Last 2 years we were out there. We had a massive structure tent up for the Walmart family up in Fayetteville 3 weeks ago. We do all the Hibbett Sports locations around the U.S. We'll help them out. They got, I think they're around 1,800 stores. Between them and City Gear, same company, they got around 3,000 stores. So they'll do like parking lot sales 3 times a year. And so we help facilitate all that. So we'll cover the state of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi. And then I'll sub-rent from friends of mine around the country to do the other.
So it's really a network.
It's a huge network. Yeah, it's a huge network.
And you're doing all this right out of Shreveport.
Yep.
I mean, and Moss has like so many, like everybody knows he can do tents. Everybody knows tables and chairs and bounce houses.
Yep.
But when you get in his warehouse or in his website even, and you see how many different versions of all this random stuff, like I love when Moss goes to his trade show and he's like, "What do you think about this?" And he's sending me into some crazy, nuts bounce house type situation. I mean, it's just so cool how much stuff you have. I mean, I think it's a huge asset for Shreveport. I think how you've grown, you know me, I want to keep up.
Yep.
I want to keep up with the big cities. I want to be able to offer what you can see in the big cities. And from an event standpoint,
We've done that.
you have done that. Shreveport would not be able to keep up with a New Orleans wedding or a Dallas wedding without Pelican tents. I feel confident in saying that.
And we've took some big gambles over the year because some of these items that we rent out, they might cost $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And you got to pay for them up front.
Right.
And then you got to rent it out to make your money back.
Number of times.
X amount of times before it gets paid for, before you start making money. And you can't damage it in between or screw it up.
We got 4 air conditioners on reserve.
Yeah.
Okay, for an October wedding.
Yeah. And so So we've been blessed, and you know, I look at trends and look at what my other friends are doing in different parts of the country, what's working, not working, things like that. You know, that way our local community or North Louisiana, you know, we have the options, you know, to do things like like at Fiberbond, they're a big client of ours, and you know they've grown exponentially.
Yes.
And so when Graham, Walker, and Wendy called me and said, "Hey, we're doing a Christmas lunch for 900 people, and we need it under a tent at the factory, completely heated." No problem. We had it in stock.
I want to talk two things with you, Moss. Now, first, I want to talk about, because this is just a fun story with us. We hadn't in a long time, Moss and I hadn't had a project where we had a lot of creative control, and it was like, let's build it up. Probably because, you know, once you've done Derby Day and, you know, you're just shaping things, it's the exciting, like, building the art in there. But I'd forgotten a little bit how much fun it is when me and Moss get handed a just blank slate template and get to do it together. So
really, it was his vision. We had the product to be able to pull it off.
I got called by some friends of ours to help with a cotillion function party and they said, this party's been going on for a long time and it's always the same.
Always the same.
It's always the same. The budget is pretty big. We want something exciting. So I'm like, well, I can give you exciting, but with exciting comes risk.
Yeah.
And a lot of people planning a wedding or an event like this, they like exciting. They don't really like risk.
Yeah, risk.
So I would go in this meeting and then I'd call Moss right out and I'd say, okay, how crazy am I? Where are we? What are you thinking? Moss is like, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Keep going. I'll back you up. Let's do it. And so me and Moss just kind of kept going down the road. And people in the organization were getting, you know, the crew that was in charge was with us.
Yes.
And they believed and they deserve every bit of the credit.
They knew us.
They knew us. But the rest of the organization, I mean, there were people like upset about this.
They were.
And like, I was getting like asked in public, like in the grocery store by people I didn't know, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
you're messing our party up.
Yeah, and so Moss and then we're about a week out, and we had both worked on a project at this spot before for something, and I knew that stage down on the riverfront had so much potential and nobody's using it. And Moss and we were like, let's do it. And so then a massive flood starts coming in the river.
All the rain from up north and here locally,
Right.
the river started growing.
So we are every day, I'm like, calling he's like, okay, I'm gonna run down there. I'm gonna mark this, we'll see. And like the next day I'm like, oh God, it's up 3 feet from where we marked it yesterday. What do you think? Yeah,
because we go out on Thursday and we set the tent up, start getting the string lights going. And this is at Riverview Park?
Yeah.
Across street from Southport,
Right.
where the fountains are and stuff like that. And it tears down, and then it goes up to the big stage. And so we did a big tent on the stage, and the band's playing towards Clyde Fant. And I called Matt and John Pickens. I'm like, because it was John's.
Yeah, he was the planner.
Yeah, that was their party, and so in that area in front of the big stage, it started, flooding.
Yeah,
and then
at that point, I think
it was like 6 inches of water.
Yeah, we were like at one point it was totally turned around. Yeah. The party was going to be this whole other thing, and me and Moss are walking. I'm like, Moss, I know we've sold them on this, but I can see it. We got it wrong. Yep. And Moss is like, oh yeah, wait, what do you think? And I said, what if we did this? And Mom said, yes, we're doing that. I got this, I got that. We'll put this there, we'll do that. And so we went back to him. I was like, hey, I know we got you all excited about this idea.
We're gonna change it up.
We want to chop it all in half and do it a different way. And they went with it. And then now go back to the flooding.
So then I go out there Friday and the water's like, we were already building, they were gonna walk on the grass, and I was building steps to get onto the dance floor area. Well, then there was 3 inches of water on Thursday, probably 6 inches to a foot on Friday, party Saturday. And so I'm like, all right, we're going to build this steps on Saturday. I get there, there's 4 feet of water.
Ooh. I mean, probably 20 feet wide.
20 feet wide, and however long that, probably 100, 120 feet this way. And so I told my guys that morning, bring your swimsuits. because we're building a walkway. We're building a bridge over the water, and so they had a moat. They had a moat, and everybody thought it looked like we did it on.
I mean, I was trying to find fountains and swans
to put in the water. And so my guys built a 8-foot wide walkway, had safety railing and stairs, and it was
like, Moss,
it was one of the coolest things.
We got to
ever.
light the moat. Moss is bringing in lights. We're shining all different lights on the water. It ended up looking. It's one of the coolest pictures
ever
I've ever seen of Shreveport. Like, it was so much fun, and like, that is one thing that, like, being
a lot of people would have
entrepreneur-
just canceled and moved
Right,
away.
yeah.
gone inside.
Because that night, John was like, "Have you ever done this before?" I was like, "Well, Katie Larson does her fashion show, and she's doing it at the Horseshoe, and she wanted a walkway for the models to walk across the swimming pool." So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like we did that before. I mean,
what was the
river water,
difference?
what's the difference?
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
fun though when you're entrepreneurs working with other entrepreneurs that also have that ability to think outside the box and do things. And in the business we're both in, you got to have that.
Right.
There's nothing worse than me trying to create a event that's a piece of art and calling a guy and him saying, "Well, I have these chairs, this table." Like, that doesn't help me much.
you got to be able to
Like,
pivot and be creative and not say no. And
It sounds to me like you got a huge network in this industry.
yes, I do.
that.
We've been
So
fortunate with that.
where's the opportunity for somebody, in Shreveport? Because we're all about Shreveport. The more
Right.
jobs we create in Shreveport,
Yep.
we solve a lot of problems.
Yep.
All right. Where's the opportunity for somebody in the entertainment industry right now?
I mean, obviously, it's right now. It's with everything that's going on with the potential stuff with 50 Cent and all his stuff, and that's going to breed a lot of new businesses that are not currently here. That'll go with that, whether it's film guys or restroom trailers, or there's really no one that rents out.
All that left when all that movie
all that
industry.
left. Oven rentals and hot boxes.
ice
and
truck guy.
Ice truck.
I need
guy.
an
there's-
ice
there's
truck
not a
guy.
lot-
Somebody was just talking to me
There's no-
about
there's no
ice
local
the other
ice.
day.
We need some ice. Me and
You gotta
Mark,
get
don't
ice-
get us started on
You
the
gotta get
ice
ice from
thing.
Dallas now.
I mean,
you can't
it's
get ice.
Can you
unbelievable.
believe that?
I'm
Ice
loading
coming
my
in?
car up for Crawfest
Yeah,
and things like
from gas stations.
from gas stations.
So like if you call up and try to get ice, well, you got to have background
See,
checks.
this is so key. A lot of people don't understand. There's opportunity.
Tons of opportunity.
If you want to be an ice guy, call us. We'll put you in business tomorrow.
I got to tell you, I agree with you. I think 50 Cent coming in, doing what he's doing, if he wants to come in here and spend that money and help us generate opportunity, come on. I don't see anybody
great.
else trying to do it.
And it was great for us because, they're renting trash cans from me, barricades from me, tables, chairs, tents. I mean, sand. I mean, they rented all kinds of stuff. And so when that event took place, that's a slower time of the year for us. And the revenue that he brought in for us that time of year was, they're renting pipe and drape out. Every day, all day, my phone was
I'm
ringing.
all for it. Matt and I've talked about it many times. Come on, spend the money.
Spend the
We'll
money.
help you. We'll help you make it successful.
Both of us are about doing things the right way.
Yep, 100%.
And as long as you're coming in and you're going to do it the right way, and you're going to move us closer to the bar of other places in this country, I'm all for it. And that is all I saw in that deal.
I love the
great.
fact that you're actually supporting entertainment events in Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's amazing. You would think there would be everything you need in Dallas. Okay.
Nope, it's not.
They're
Yeah,
coming. They're coming to Shreveport, which kind of excites me because every economic development meeting I go to, everybody's talking about Dallas is growing so big. It's going to be as big as New York City by 2035
yeah.
or something like that. And I'm like, cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. I want them to get their manufacturing and everything they need from Shreveport.
Yep.
It's just too close.
And that is such an easy drive. I think that's another benefit of like living in Shreveport, that you can not deal with all that, but you can also enjoy it very easily.
Yep.
Moss, the other thing I wanted to bring up with you is just from a standpoint, you're out in the streets like I am.
Yep,
You
all
are
day, every day.
talking to people every week. Like, we have to get into it with you. The good and the bad of like, let's talk Shreveport.
Yeah.
Where are we right now? Where do you see us going? I mean, we've been doing this 10, 15 years. Give me your thoughts.
I'm excited. Big time. I'm bullish. I'm seeing, because a lot of times people are reading stuff from us, groundbreakings, factories, announcements. And so a lot of times I hear about this stuff, 8 to 9 months before the groundbreaking that's going to happen 9 months, but then they start the facility 12 months after that. So a lot of times I hear about stuff, 18 months to 24 months in advance. And we have a lot coming in and a lot going on, more than people realize. So I'm super excited about that, and that just brings more culture, more people. That's going to help more festivals like the ones you do, or Mudbug, or the Revel, or Let the Good Times Roll, stuff like that. So I'm excited about that.
I feel like people are calming down a little with the negativity. I don't know if it's working what we're all trying to do.
I think
I'm not hearing it as bad lately.
It's not as bad as it used to be.
We're our
our
biggest enemy.
We are.
We bash
are.
Shreveport.
We bash our own selves.
That's right.
And I'm like, why would you do that? I want my kids to come back here.
I want mine to stay
and live here. And so no, I'm extremely excited, and everything that y'all's organization does here. Dr. George taught to us at our business group the other day, and it's just mind blowing how much stuff is coming down the pipes and how much work y'all are doing behind the scenes that no one even knows about. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited.
Thank you for coming. This has been really a lot of fun. Great episode.
It's fun, and
I'm glad I finally got you. What I mean? It's like it might have been easier to get 50.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.